Now, I have done a much more rigorous survey, this time from the global media for 3 years, 2020, 21, 22, and I have looked into all the reports. And so, this database they keeps the track of the all major newspapers, but more than that they keeps track of all the academics, major academic thesis, major judicial things. So, all the important documents that is sort of thought as the mainstream discourse, and there I have found the Hindus of India. So, I looked into the number of mentions of these terms, and whenever there is a mention I check whether that report actually associates the concept of majority to a particular community. So, sometimes these are used in an abstract sense, there I do not know what is the connotation of it, I mean we may not know, but where it is distinctly associated. Suppose the article says majoritarianism is a bad thing and then talks about Hindus of India as a majority, then we know it is sort of blaming indirectly the community for being sort of discriminatory to the minorities, or more than discriminatory, maybe aggressor to the minorities. So, I looked into the database, 80% of the time it is the Hindus of India. I mind you, this is the global media, not Indian media. In global, Indians are like 15% of the global population, Hindus are even less. Still, we Hindus of India are blamed for 80% of the time for different aggression. And the next in the list is Buddhists of Sri Lanka, again 7.8% of the time, again disproportionately more. There is also some other entities like Hindi speakers of India and Hindus and Buddhists of South Asia. Many Americans, they can't distinguish these two terms between Hindi and Hindu. They sort of think that Hindus speak Hindi and all. So, keeping all these biases in mind, the actual implication might be much more than 80%. You can say safely in the South Asia, the Hindus and Buddhists are blamed for 90% of the time. That is an atrocious number, I think. So, the point I am trying to say that I am criticizing a theory, but this is not an academic exercise. This is a very big impact on the discourses that go on typically in the media. One possibility is that, of course, the Indian constitution is actually biased for the Hindus, and that is why the media is justifiably doing it. But actually we find it is the other way around. In article 25 of the Indian constitution, it actually gives the propagation of religion as a right, and but interestingly this clause propagation was not there. Initially it was only about practice and profession, but propagation was sort of inserted at the insistence of Indian Christians, most notably a learned Bengali Christian Harendra Kumar Mukherjee. So, the point I am trying to say that Christianity is an evangelical religion. Their idea is to sort of make people part of Christianity, and this is how they think is sort of right. But in the Indian tradition, that was completely missing. There is no concept of sort of conversion of other person. The Indian tradition talks about developing inner virtues through different practices. Whether you by name talk yourself as Hindu or Buddhist is completely irrelevant, and this is what Gandhiji said many times. So, from that point of view, article 25 is sort of an intrusion on the Indian traditions itself, not only on the Hindus, but Indian traditions. But of course, it is against the Hindus, because Hindus has no such things as conversion. Now, if you look at this anomaly is not only true for India, it is true for many other countries. For example, the Orthodox Christians, they are not proselytizing by nature, and they feel threatened by the Protestant denominations' aggression in evangelization, and this conflict is found in East Europe, many countries. So, in Greek constitution, they actually allow persons to profess their own religion and practice, but not to propagate. So, this is basically to save the Greek Orthodox Church from the Protestant aggression. So, the idea is I am trying to say that essentially this is not only my slant, it is an accepted problem in another country, European country, Greek country, because they have their civilizational issues. Right. Similarly, I can show in article 28 which sort of prohibits Hindu texts being taught in the education system, but with the minorities they could have their institution and teach their own text, there is no problem with that. And article 30 prohibits to make Hindu schools. So, Hindus cannot sort of make an educational institution because they are the majority, the minorities could have theirs. Now, this is again at variance with the experience in the West. UK, France, Belgium, US, in no country it is not there, the majority cannot have their institution. So, in sum I can say the Indian constitution is sort of biased against the Hindus,